My name is Logan Hart, 47 years alive, a structural engineer with a truck held together by rust and prayer, a father of 2 college kids who still think I'm invincible, and the last living heir to 47 acres of untouched Montana forest my grandfather Gerald Hart bought back in 1971 for $8,200 in cash he kept in envelopes smelling like pipe smoke and sawdust. He left me that land in 2019, along with one handwritten note tucked inside the deed. Don't ever let anyone take what's yours. Back then, those words felt like the kind of advice old men give when they think you're still 10 years old. I never imagined I'd need to test them. 3 years passed. Divorce happened, life collapsed, bills piled up, and my job turned into a 7-day-a-week oxygen machine. But every April, without fail, I paid the property taxes, $6 for 100, on time. Email receipts neatly archived like I could will order into a life that didn't have much of it left. In August of 2022, I finally drove up Highway 41 with my grandfather's ashes in the passenger seat, planning to scatter them under the same trees he used to tap with a walking stick. I turned onto the old fire road, expecting silence, pine needles, and the slow, holy creak of the forest. Instead, I saw sidewalks, streetlights, paved cul-de-sacs, and 96 houses, almost identical stucco boxes painted in what I immediately recognized as HOA-mandated beige, each one sitting where a tree should have been. The entrance sign announced, Cedar Crest Hollow, an Everglade living community. I checked my GPS 4 times. Same coordinates, same land. Only now, my forest had been replaced by a suburb built on a lie. At the gate, a security guard stepped out, palm up. Residents only, sir. I am the resident, I said, showing him a photo of my deed. This is my land. He smirked. And I'm the Pope. Turn around. Then a white Range Rover floated up behind me, and out stepped a woman radiating the kind of confidence you can only buy with other people's money. Vanessa Marlowe, president of the Cedar Crest Residents Association and head of Marlowe Development Group LLC, though I didn't know that yet. She wore cream linen, flawless makeup, a diamond watch the size of a hockey puck, and an expression that said she'd never heard the word no from anyone whose opinion mattered. What's the issue, Ray? She asked the guard. This guy claims he owns the development. Vanessa turned and scanned me like I was a broken lawnmower someone left at the curb. Boots, jacket, oil-stained hands. In her head, she put me in the laborer asking for work folder before I even spoke. How adorable, she said. Sweetheart, the construction crews are full, but I can take your number. I own this property, I said. My grandfather. She sighed like I'd told her I believed in unicorns and held out a business card between 2 fingers. Our attorney, Clifford Bray, can explain that the land was abandoned for over 3 years, so under Montana adverse possession statutes, it's legally ours. It's not adverse possession if I paid the taxes, I said. Her smile sharpened. You know just enough to be dangerous. She lifted her phone and took a picture of my license plate. In case you decide to vandalize something. We have excellent cameras. And trust me, people like you don't win against people like us. I drove home shaking so hard I nearly put the truck in a ditch. That night, under the kitchen light that made everything look worse than it was, I spread out every document my grandfather ever touched. The deed, the ledgers, the receipts. Vanessa's threat rattled in my head, but so did my grandfather's note. I called Clifford Bray's office the next morning. His receptionist sounded like someone who smiled through her teeth. She offered me a $15,000 nuisance settlement if I'd sign a quitclaim deed. $15,000 for land worth over $4 million. I hung up and realized I needed a real attorney, the kind who made other lawyers remember dental appointments. A friend in Cheyenne gave me one name, Elena Park. Her reputation? She'd taken down a railroad in an adverse possession case so hard they tried to hire her afterward. I booked a $500 consultation, drove through a snowstorm to her office, and laid out everything. She read my grandfather's tax records like scripture. You've been paying taxes, she said. Therefore, adverse possession is impossible. So we stop construction? She closed the folder. No, we let them finish. What? She leaned in, eyes sharp. If we stop them now, they'll file bankruptcy. The land gets stuck in court for years. 96 families sue everyone alive. Chaos. But if we let them finish, then file declaratory judgment, you won't just own land. You'll own 96 completed houses built through fraud. I stared. So I wait. You wait. Document everything. Tell no one. And let them build their own coffin. I signed a retainer. My stomach hurt, but my path was clear. I drove past Cedar Crest twice a week, filming everything. They built non-stop, saw blades, nail guns, fresh asphalt, pools being dug like graves. 3 weeks in, Vanessa spotted me and made a phone call. 20 minutes later, a sheriff's cruiser pulled up. "Sir," said Deputy Nolan Price, "Mrs. Marlowe says you've been harassing her." "I'm documenting construction on land I legally own," I said. "Check the parcel number." He looked torn. "If she calls again, I'll have to act." Translation: she donates to his boss. I don't. By November, families were moving in. U-Hauls everywhere. Kids laughing on scooters. They weren't villains. They were victims, like me, just earlier in the timeline. Then came the certified letter. Legal threats. Photos of my truck circled in red. Vanessa documenting her own fraud without even realizing it. Elena laughed so hard she wiped tears. Every letter she sends is evidence. She told me to dig deeper. I did. I found Marlowe Development Group LLC registered in Delaware. Financing from Pinnacle Ridge Capital, run by Elliot Marlowe, Vanessa's husband. 3 past lawsuits tied to them: fraud, defects, a failed resort. Their adverse possession claim was filed but never adjudicated, meaning they started selling houses before any court approved it. That's not a mistake. That's a business model. Then the smear campaign began. A Facebook post from Vanessa M., Cedar Crest president, called me a stalker who took photos of children. It spread like gasoline poured on dry grass. Hundreds of shares. Strangers calling me a predator. My daughter Sophie texted, "Dad, is this true? People are saying awful things. What's happening?" I wanted to burn the world down. Elena told me, "Do nothing. Screenshot everything." She's handing us defamation on a silver platter. Then my boss put me on leave for optics. Then a private investigator visited my son Liam at work, hinting I had a criminal past. Then the IRS randomly selected me for audit. Then someone broke into my house and left a note. "Drop it or lose everything." I called Elena. She said, "Good. They're panicking. Desperate people make mistakes." Then came the turning point. An email from Elliot Marlowe that Elena obtained through a whistleblower. A message spelling out. They knew I owned the land. They knew adverse possession wouldn't work. Their plan was to move fast, sell fast, and overwhelm me legally. They'd done this before in Aspen Ridge. This email was a confession. In court, when Elena presented it, Judge Navarro raised an eyebrow so sharply I thought she'd cut glass with it. "Is this authentic?" she asked. Clifford stammered. "Yes, Your Honor." Motion to dismiss. Denied. Temporary restraining order. Granted. Judge's glare at Vanessa. Blistering. Outside the courthouse, Elena told me. That email was the grenade. Now we use artillery. Depositions followed like dominoes falling in slow motion. North Summit Title admitted taking a hidden $45,000 payment. Code enforcement Glenn Ross testified about false complaints. Deputies documented harassment. My neighbor provided the license plate of the PI's SUV. Megan Cole from Channel 7 interviewed me for TV. Vanessa threatened the station with a lawsuit. They aired the story anyway. It went viral. And that's when the Marlowes escalated from reckless to dangerous. Trial day arrived in cold February light. Courtroom packed. Cameras outside. Homeowners inside gripping documents like life jackets. Elena's opening statement was a scalpel dipped in acid. "This isn't misunderstanding," she said. "It is theft executed with LLCs and lies." The evidence unfolded like a funeral procession. The fraudulent email. The bribes. The false complaints. The PI. The break-in. The smear campaign. The tax receipts from 1971 to present. Elena tore through Elliot in cross-examination until he contradicted himself so many times, even his own lawyer winced. Vanessa refused to testify. The courtroom felt like a held breath. 24 hours later, Judge Navarro issued an 18-page ruling. The first paragraph destroyed the Marlowes. The defendants engaged in a calculated scheme to defraud. The plaintiff, Logan Hart, is the sole lawful owner of all 47 acres, including the development built upon it. I gained full legal title to all 96 homes. For $0.2 million in damages. All legal fees paid. A referral for criminal prosecution. The Marlows lost their companies, their assets, their reputations, their freedom. Elliot later received federal charges. Vanessa pled out with probation and a lifetime ban from real estate. Their power. But the 96 families? They looked at me with terror. What happens to us? One asked. Do we lose our homes? And that's when I realized the difference between justice and revenge. I called a community meeting. Everyone came, parents clutching children, retirees, young couples who'd stretched every dollar to buy what they'd been told was their dream home. I told them, I'm not here to profit off your nightmare. I'm creating the Heartland Trust. You will own your homes at the price you already paid. No extra interest. No penalty. No eviction ever. Silence. Then tears. Then applause so loud it shook the drywall. The damages I received? They went toward maintaining the land, paying taxes, and launching the Gerald Hart Scholarship Fund, $10,000 every year to a student from Cedar Crest who studies engineering, forestry, or environmental law. I kept 5 untouched acres for myself and built a small cabin there, the kind of place my grandfather would have loved. Families visit sometimes. Kids bring drawings. Dogs run through the trees that survived. Neighbors bring pie. Nobody calls me a stalker anymore. And sometimes, on quiet mornings, coffee steaming in my hands, frost on the railing, I read my grandfather's old note again. Don't ever let anyone take what's yours. I understand now he didn't mean land. He meant dignity. He meant legacy. He meant fighting even when the world tries to break you. And he was right.